Hey, welcome to the CPCU 530 video series part 3. Today we are breaking down the definitions and the format of the CPCU 530 exam. The definitions are the most important part of this exam. And this is presented by AssociatePI. We are an independent organization, not affiliated with the Institute or the CPCU. My name's Jake. I passed my CPCU 530 exam. I've earned my CPCU designation, and I'm here to help you pass the exam. As I mentioned, this is video number 3. If you want to see all the videos, you can check out them. You can get all the videos at AssociatePI.com/videos. So let's get right into it. There's a ton of content to cover in this video, so I'm going to try and go through it kind of quickly. But first of all, the exam format. It's a multiple choice exam. It's 85 questions, and it's broken up into 2 sections. Part A, so it's section 1, part A is 55 questions. These are concept and definition-based questions. Part B is about 30 questions, and that's case-based questions. They're scenario questions where it puts you in the shoes of a lawyer. You have to know the legal concepts to answer the question. And on this exam, actually all the questions are based on some type of definition or legal concept, so you have to know and memorize all of the definitions. But there's 4 common question formats that you can see right here. So we've listed them all, and we'll give you some examples in the next video, in the practice exam video, but this is good to know, where it says these 4 are common question formats that you'll see on the exams. The first one says, which of the following is true in regards to blank? So it'll say, it'll give you some concept or definition there, and you have to pick which of the answer options is true. Blank is an example of what? There again, it's going to give you a definition or concept. It's going to be a concept, and you have to choose which of the 4 answer options is an example of the concept. Blank is what? So once again, it'll be something that says a tort is what, and you have to choose the definition. What's the definition of a tort? And the last one is often seen in a scenario-based question where it says which of the following is best, and the 4 answer options are going to be real-life scenarios, real-life applications of the law, and you have to choose which of the 4 options is best given the scenario. So here's a couple examples putting these 4 question formats into real exam questions. So example 1, which of the following is true in regards to a broker? So here you go, just like I was saying, a sample definition concept question. Example 2, Mac tells Jerry that he will pay $100 if Jerry mows his lawn this week. Jerry mows Mac's lawn this week, creating a binding contract. This is an example of what? There you go, kind of a scenario question. This is an example of what? Example 3, ultrahazardous is what? And this is one where the 4 answer options are going to be the definition of ultrahazardous. So you have to know the definition of that concept. And lastly, example 4, the one that I was saying is going to be probably seen in a case-based questions, part B of the exam. Ashley accidentally drives through a red light and causes an accident. The oncoming car sues Ashley for damages. Which of the following is the best defense for Ashley's case? So this is the example where I was saying which of the following is best, where the answer options are going to be 4 scenarios that apply to Ashley's case, and you have to choose which of those scenarios, which option is best for Ashley's case. And again, this exam, you need to know the definitions. There are over 600 definitions to memorize and be familiar with on this exam. I would know I personally counted all 600. I went through our course and saw how many definitions there are from each chapter, and we counted over 600 legal definitions and concepts. Again, not all of them are that important. Some are more important than others. In this video, we're going to cover which ones are important and which ones you need to know, and you can see more of those that we recommend you memorize for the exam at AssociatePI.com/CPCU530, where we break down which ones are important. So let's get into it. Today, the topic is exam definitions. We are going to cover 10 definitions, and these are 10 of the most important definitions that you must know for the exam. So we're going to go over each of these in the next slides. As I said, there's a lot of content. It might take a little while, so I'm going to try and go quickly to get through this. But the 10 definitions that we're going to cover are civil law, common law, unilateral, promissory estoppel, the UCC articles, less clear chance, ultrahazardous, attractive nuisance, express license and implied license, and hostile takeover. So these are the 10 definitions. I highly recommend you memorize these 10. You'll probably see these on your exam, so it guarantees that you'll get a couple correct right away. And the exam's only 85 questions wrong, so you know if 5 of these are on the exam, you'll get 5 questions right away, just by memorizing these that I'm giving you in this video. So let's get started. This is from Chapter 1, Civil Law, and I'm not going to read you a full definition. Feel free to pause this video because there is a lot to go through and there's a lot to read. So feel free to pause the video and read through yourself. But I am going to give you some tips about each. So know the definition of civil law, and tip, know the legal systems, such as the difference between common law and civil law. So here's civil law, and here's common law. These are two of the most important definitions from Chapter 1. Again, big definition for common law. Make sure you pause the video, jot that one down, and memorize this one, and know the difference, how common law is different from civil law, because the exam is going to try and trick you on these two definitions. It'll give you a case question about common law and ask you about civil law, and it'll mix and mingle the two definitions and concepts, minor details to try and trick you. All right, moving on to the next important definition. This is from Chapter 2, a unilateral contract. So this one's short. I'll read this one. A unilateral contract means that one party promises contractual performance. One party promises to perform an obligation for the other party. So that's important. You're definitely going to see some unilateral contract-based case questions, where it'll give you an example of unilateral contract in real life, and you have to understand that it is a unilateral contract. So my big tip is know the difference between unilateral contracts versus bilateral contracts. Also know the difference between an executed contract versus executory contract. Know what express versus implied is, and know a void versus voidable. So you have to know all those different types of contract characteristics. Also from Chapter 2, understand promissory estoppel. So you have to know how this is applied, to a real life scenario, because you're probably going to see this in a Part B case question. So this is an important one. You're definitely going to want to memorize promissory estoppel. And moving on to the next definition from Chapter 4, the UCC articles. Now, you're probably not going to see all of these on the exam, but you might see one or two of these articles. There's 4 UCC articles, at least for the purpose of this exam. We're only covering 4 of them. So memorize these 4 articles. Each one pertains to a different type of law. So as you can see, Article 2 governs the law of the sale of goods. So memorize what each of these articles covers, because you might have a definition or concept question on that. Next definition is the last clear chance. You are probably going to see this in a scenario-based question. This is a good one where it's going to put you in the shoes of a lawyer. It's going to give you a case, and it's going to say, what is the best defense for this, given this case? And the answer is probably going to be last clear chance, or one of the other 7 rules of comparative negligence. So make sure you know the 7 rules of comparative negligence, such as the 49% rule, assumption of risk, and last clear chance. And there's more. So make sure you memorize all of those, but last clear chance is important, and you'll probably see it in a case question. Ultrahazardous. This is an important one that you'll probably see in some type of concept question, where it's going to ask you what is ultrahazardous, or it'll give you an example of a scenario, and you have to choose that the scenario is ultrahazardous. So know the 3 types of extraordinary liability, which is animal liability, strict liability, and toxic leakage. That all applies to ultrahazardous. Next definition, also from Chapter 6, know what attractive nuisance is. So understand how this is applied, because you will probably see this in a case question. This is a tricky one that you're probably going to see. It's something like, say the homeowner has a pool in their yard, and a child comes onto the yard and gets injured in the pool. They were attracted into the yard because of the pool. So that would be an attractive nuisance. That's an example of how the exam might give you a case. You have to understand, analyze the case, and determine that that is an attractive nuisance, and the homeowner will be liable, not the child, or not the child's parent, but the homeowner will be liable, even though they didn't invite the child onto the yard, because the pool is an attractive nuisance. Also from Chapter 6, know the definitions of express and implied. So an express license and an implied license. Know the difference between each, because the exam is going to try and trick you and give you an example of an express license, try and make you choose an answer that's for implied license, and it's going to try and mix and mingle these definitions to confuse you. So know these 2 definitions, know how they are different from each other. Also know, side note, also know about invitees. This is the same chapter, so know what a business invitee is and a public invitee. Very similar to express license and implied license. So it's kind of the same topics there, same concept. So make sure you memorize all of those while you're at it. The next definition that you need to know is hostile takeover. This is an important one. So memorize all different types of mergers and merger processes. So for example, know what a de facto merger is, a hostile takeover, a tender offer, and share exchange. You're going to see a bunch of business law questions like this, so make sure you know what a hostile takeover is. And that's it. Those are our 10 definitions and concepts that we recommend that you memorize for this exam. If you memorize those 10, and there's actually more, like probably 15 or 20, because some of those definitions had more tips and more definitions to what we recommend you memorize. So if you memorize all those, you're probably going to get 5 to 10 questions right on your exam automatically, because those are very important definitions that you're going to see in case questions and concept questions. So with that being said, if you want more practice, if you want to see our guide to definitions about the most important definitions that you need to know for the exam, I highly recommend you go to AssociatePI.com/practice exam. Download our free practice exam. With it, you get a free practice exam, study guide, and definitions guide. I'll tell you exactly what you need to know for the exam, and you can practice these definitions with our practice exam. You can see how they're formed in an exam question, formatted just like the exam. And if you want more resources, you can check out our free blogs at AssociatePI.com/CPCU530, including the exam difficulty, more exam questions, more exam definitions, and the format. And that's it. That's part 3 of this CPCU 530 video series. The next video, we are going over a CPCU 530 practice exam, so you can see all the videos if you go to AssociatePI.com/videos. And that's it for this video. We will see you on the next one.